Huge, legendary, gargantuan, extreme. These are all words I would use to describe the courses I create. Creating rad gravel courses on gravel and mixed terrain can be easy, and it can get you the best possible rides while exploring unknown areas. By following some basic steps and making some smart decisions, you can ensure that your route will be the correct difficulty and as safe as possible, while riding long distances and further away from civilization. First, I'll walk you through my process using Garmin Connect's Course Creator. Next, we'll test out the ride and I'll show you how I navigate through these courses and how I make decisions on the road. So, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to do to get started is go to Garmin Connect. This is a free app you can create an account for. Over here you have the navigation, and under training, click on courses. And here you'll see a list of all the courses you've created and just a big map of your location. You can switch between the map views over here on the right. The first thing you want to do is decide on the area you'll be riding. So I've kind of decided already. I'm going to start around here in Easton, and the area I'm going to be riding in is around here. I've looked on the map and this looks like a cool mountain area that'd be kind of fun to explore. I think it'll be a good like 45-mile day ride for me. It's also good to get an idea of the surrounding area of the ride you're going to be on. So for example, over here you have another freeway, which will be good to know. This can be like a backup in case I need to exit out this way. We can also get an idea of like the water sources. The next thing to do is to choose a starting point. I'm going to be starting right around here in Easton. When I start out my rides, I like to have a little bit of pavement kind of as a warm-up, just to kind of, ease yourself into the ride. I'm going to start right here. What you'll do is click Create a Course. And under Course Type, you'll select Gravel Unpaved Cycling. And now I can select my, my starting point. And after I've chosen my starting point, what you want to do is select Follow Roads. I found that to work a lot better than popularity routing. So the next thing you'll do is just kind of work your way into the area we're going towards. And you can kind of see the main roads are just highlighted lighter. Like here's some smaller roads. You'll find that some of these really small ones aren't really roads. Maybe they were in the past, like 15 or 20 years ago, but they're really far overgrown or just landslid over, completely unmaintained. So let's just work our way in here. And I can see that the road kind of follows this, this valley along here, this river. I'll just choose that as a first point. And then going in further, I'll choose this as a second point. And as you're doing this, it's usually a good idea to kind of double check that there are actually roads where you're choosing. So if we zoom in all the way here, I can see a little path right there and a path right here. And usually roads are maintained in sections. So I would consider this a big section and this a big section. From here to here a big section. Usually if the road is maintained, it's kind of all or nothing. So you'll find if something looks really bad, it's probably bad all the way through. So this all looks pretty good. Looks like it's a legit road we can follow. And we can also kind of see the roads in the satellite view pretty well. It looks like there's a lot of roads around here, so maybe we can go to the terrain view and kind of see where we're riding. So we kind of worked our way from the bottom of this valley where this river was, up this hill, kind of on some switchbacks. And this is kind of working our way up towards this peak right here. So I think all these roads will be pretty cool to ride on. So I'm just going to choose to go around this way and kind of double check this is legit. You'll see on certain roads they're really dark. And I found that the darker the road, the rougher and the less maintained it is. You'll also see that roads where you can see the tire tracks for cars, those roads will be rougher too and less maintained. And in general, roads are less maintained kind of in the middle of these big mountainy areas, and they're less maintained with higher elevation. You'll find that the closer you are to civilization, kind of like the city over here, the smoother and the faster the roads will be. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So it looks like this goes a little bit downhill. You can kind of see it work its way down into this little valley. I'm going to want to stay a little bit higher up just to keep myself from doing too much work.
because I'm gonna be looping back this way. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna choose to go around here. I'm gonna follow this road through, kind of double checking that it's actually a road, and keep working our way around. Here's another big mountain up here. This would be kind of a cool bonus climb to do. Let's just keep working our way back. Here's a good example of a really smooth, well-maintained road. You can notice how bright it is. Roads like this will just be a lot faster and also great for descending on, where speed really helps you pick up your average pace. So I'm just gonna kind of work my way back this way. And as I'm doing this, you can kind of see, so the ride in general, it's just kind of a big climb, and then I kind of descend down a little bit. This is kind of like a valley-ish area over here, it looks like. And I'm at 24 miles, which is doing pretty good, 5,000 feet. So let's just keep working our way this way. I'm gonna zoom out and get an idea of where I'm at. So here's the start of the ride. It comes in, it's kind of a long, slow climb. Here's kind of a peak up here, I think. You can kind of see where the elevation is by moving your mouse on this elevation graph. So here's kind of the top of the climb. Then you kind of work your way down and kind of just do some traversing and stuff. And we're gonna try to make this a big loop. So I'm gonna keep going this way. I can see the road kind of follows along this way and it goes up here. So I'm gonna do a quick little shortcut here. Just click right there. Now I didn't really look at exactly the road it would choose for me. So I'm gonna do the satellite view and double check that all this is legit. All right, so we're doing pretty good. Right when I get to this point, so I've done this Iron Horse Trail before, and I know that it's a smooth, really fast gravel road to ride on. And in general, when you see these green dashes, those are not gonna be roads you can ride on. They're gonna be hiking trails. But in this case, I know, because I've ridden this before, this is an actual bike path. So say you see a road and it's not on this map, it won't let me track it with follow roads. So if you just choose your freehand view, if you can see that it's a clear road, you can just freehand click it as you go. And you can just follow roads this way too. And now that we're back at kind of our starting point, to end the ride, we can just click right next to the finish point. So there we go. Now we have a good looking course. This says it'll be 43 miles and 7,600 feet elevation. Now, I don't think this will be exactly 7,600 feet. In general, what I found, it's usually 1,000 to a couple thousand feet off. But here, I think that it'll be around 6,800 feet on this ride. Another thing that you'll want to do is look for your water source. I know kind of the type of road I'm going to be riding on. And I know based on my previous rides, my approximate speed for a ride like this, which is about like 8.5 to 9 miles per hour. So it says 5 hours is the time it'll take for me to complete that. I usually do a water bottle every 2 hours. And so with this, I could bring an extra water bottle, or I could just bring a filter. And to look for a water source, we'll use this map view. And ideally, the water source should be around the middle of the ride. But since the middle of this ride is pretty high up in elevation, there's less of a chance that there's going to be a good water source way up here. You'll find that the lower you are, the more water you'll have. We can get an idea also by looking at how the water kind of channels downward. So up here towards these ends, this is going to be less likely to be actually water. Most of the time I found these are completely non-existent or completely dried up. It's not actually like a stream. Maybe it is like in the spring, but yeah, like there's nothing here pretty much. It's just forest. So ideally there'd be something around here, but I was looking and I don't really see anything. This could be potentially a place. Here's a little creek right here. And what you can look for is little bridges. It's kind of hard to see on this if there's a bridge or not. Doesn't really look like there's anything there. So let's keep continuing. I'm gonna look backwards over here to see if there's anything on the way up the climb. Let's see what looks promising. Maybe this Cabin Creek. Sometimes these named ones are a little bit more promising. So zoom in here to Cabin Creek. And here we go. This looks like a great water source. So you can see pretty easily that it's a water source based on the color of this. You can see the whole way down, it's this clear kind of darker brown color. And you can also see here that you can see a little bridge, and that's also a really good indication for us. Be sure to take a mental note or a picture on your phone of your water source location. So for me, it's right at this little part of the map, which is really distinct, and that should be easy to remember. Now that we have our first main water source, it wouldn't hurt to have a second water source. Up here we have a nice little lake we can use. And this will be nice just as a second water source, or just have some extra water towards the end of the ride. So the last thing you want to do is just double check all the roads on your ride, starting from the very beginning of the course, and while using the satellite view. So I'm just going to start right here, zoom in all the way, and follow the complete road from the very beginning. And I can see right here that this road looks pretty small. It's really hard to see behind these trees, and it doesn't look as wide as most of the roads we chose on our route. But I'm going to say it's fine because I can see there's a nice big bridge here. And since this is so close to the beginning of the course, this will be really easy to route around if we need to. And we can just keep working our way this way. This all seems fine. This seems like this will work all right. Now here we can see that there isn't a bridge across this, this little stream right here, but it looks like that there is actually a little path here that we can use. Although we might have to get a little bit wet, we can follow this around and this should get us through. So I think we'll try it out. Now if this road was a lot further in the course, this would be a pretty bad idea, I feel like. But since it's so close to the beginning of the course, if we need to change route, that's totally possible and that will be easy to do. So let's just keep following this road up here, checking to make sure that there's a clear road on all the parts of the route that we've chosen. And this looks like a pretty slow, pretty small road. Looks like there's a little bit of a landslide right here that crossed over the road. Now, like I said before, this isn't really a great idea to have in the middle of the ride, but since it's so close to the beginning, I'm going to take a little chance, and I think we can get through that pretty easily without any problems. It looks like there is some more landsliding over here, and just some deterioration of the road, like this isn't a regularly maintained road. For the sake of this video, I think we'll just try it out. I've gotten through some sticky stuff before, and I don't think this will be a problem for me. Another way you can get a good idea of the quality of the road is by looking at the junctions in the road. So here you can see there are some pretty wide junctions here, and that's a good indication that these roads that are connected to it are legitimate, decently rideable roads. Now let's just keep following this path further. And these all look like great roads that are pretty smooth and pretty fast, just looking at how bright they are. And getting a little bit rougher up here, but still no problem, still a clear rideable road. And let's just keep on going here. This all looks good. This will all work fine. You can see pretty clearly here that this is just a pretty small, pretty rough road by looking at the tire tracks. And here you can see there's a big shaded area, and you'll notice that on some of these roads. Nothing to be concerned about, it's just the satellite imagery and the shadows from the trees. Still double checking just to make sure all these roads that we've chosen are legit quality roads that we can ride on. All of these look good. All of this looks smooth and rideable and pretty fast too up through here. And back onto this Iron Horse Trail, which like I said before, I know is a legitimate quality gravel cycling road. And there we go, back to the beginning of the course. One more thing to keep in mind, it might be a good idea to check out some alternative roads in case any of the roads on your chosen course are closed or you just can't pass through them. All right, so we have our course. Some things to keep in mind. This section of the course looks pretty crappy with those landslides and rivers we have to cross. And right here is going to be our main water spot. And up here is going to be just some bonus water. So I think we got a pretty great course here mapped out. The last things we'll want to do is just save it. So I'm going to call this my Easton gravel ride new. So now we got it saved. You want to upload it to your Garmin. Make the course public. All right, so I think we got a really great course made. So let's get out on the road and test this out.
All right, just got on the ride. Should be a really nice day today. The weather is just beautiful, pretty toasty. This first part of the ride is nice and smooth pavement, which is definitely nice. And yeah, let's keep charging it.
Another awesome ride. All the clips in that video were in order, so you can get a little bit of an idea of the types of roads you might encounter if you're riding something that's similar to this. I'm gonna be honest here, I thought that first part of the course with the landslides was gonna be a lot harder and slower to get through, but it really wasn't bad at all. I had to walk my bike up some really steep parts a couple times, and I had to walk through the water as you saw, but overall it really wasn't too bad. But having said that, I would keep in mind that it is a high possibility that the roads you'll encounter on a section that looks like that from the satellite view will be worse than that. So maybe keep that in mind when you're creating your courses. So overall, the ride was great, no problems. Everything went pretty smoothly. The water sources were nice. There wasn't too much elevation, which was also nice. The completed course, my Garmin said, was 4,500 feet. So like I had mentioned earlier, a good amount less than what the Garmin Course Creator had said it would be. I was able to do that bonus climb I had mentioned, which was that really rough, overgrown area, which was pretty cool. So yeah, not much else to say about the ride. When you're doing rides similar to this, or out in the mountains or away from civilization, really be sure to prioritize safety. Keep in mind the weather. Keep in mind if the roads are being actively logged or not. If they are, you might want to go on a weekend. Also, when you're getting started, it might be a good idea to do in and out routes instead of loop routes until you get a little bit more experience with all of this. Hope this video was helpful to you guys for creating some rad courses. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any of this, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, Cyclist Pete!